Adam Warlock. First appearing in Fantastic Four number 66, Adam Warlock was created by a group of scientists who aimed to create the perfect being. They called the creation him, using the creation for dark purposes. But things went wrong. The creation rejected the scientists after realizing their dark intentions. After taking all the scientists out with a huge explosion, him immediately left the scene. Due to not knowing his purpose in life, him went on a path of self-discovery and find his meaning in the universe. In Strange Tales number 178, him becomes the bearer of the Soul Stone and also got the name Warlock by the High Evolutionary. The stone was a big power boost for him. Now Warlock is able to manipulate souls. He also teams up with the Avengers and other heroes, where they get in a fight with the Magus, a future version of Warlock who has traveled from the past. The Magus attempts to dominate the universe, as seen in Warlock number 15. Warlock tries to use the new power of the Soul Gem, which gave him immense power, but also the temptation to misuse it. After a hard-fought battle, Warlock defeats the Magus, symbolizing his victory over his darker self. Moving forward, in Infinity Gauntlet number 4, Warlock plays a critical role in defeating Thanos and assumes responsibility for guarding the Soul Stone, embracing his role as a protector of life and balance in the universe. Despite the ongoing challenges, Warlock resolves to fight for good, choosing the path of heroism over the temptation of absolute power. He then got the name Adam from a group of youngsters, now officially being called Adam Warlock. Through Adam Warlock's journey, he was able to find his purpose in the universe. Luna Snow. Luna Snow, also known as Heal-He, was in the comic Marvel Future Fight the comic. Originally created for the Marvel Future mobile game, her story is expanded in the comic, where we learn that Luna was a pop star. She got her powers after getting caught by AIM soldiers. While trying to escape, she gets exposed to an advanced cold fusion energy experiment. This event gave her the ability to control ice and sound, turning her into a quote-unquote superhero. As Luna Snow embraces her superhero identity, she becomes part of a larger team of Marvel heroes. Characters such as Black Widow, Captain Marvel, and in this comic they battle a global threat from a villain named the Collector. But her fame as a pop star complicates her new life, as she constantly handles problems with her public persona and her secret identity. She is challenged by the internal struggle of managing her powers and the danger they pose to herself and those around her. Luna Snow gets tempted to use her abilities for personal gain and abandon her secret identity as a hero. Even though she still has a hard time balancing her life, being a pop star and a hero, by the end of Marvel Future Fight the comic, Luna Snow begins to fully embrace her powers, growing into a more confident person. Her story of self-reflection helped her use the new powers for good. Namor. Namor is one of Marvel's earliest superheroes, first appearing in Marvel Comics number 1. Namor was born half human and half Atlantean, giving him the abilities of breathing underwater, superhuman strength, and flying. Yeah, don't ask me. Namor's story gets interesting after Atlantis gets damaged by humans. Also, Namor's journey is shaped by his ongoing struggle between his loyalty to Atlantis. Since he's both human and Atlantean, Namor can't protect both people in a war. In Submariner number 1, he's forced to numerous conflicts with what Atlantean called surface dwellers. Due to this, Namor becomes of an anti-hero of sorts. But his protectiveness of Atlantis leads him into violent confrontations with humanity, especially when Atlantis is threatened. At times, he feels betrayed by humans and believes they have no regard for the environment or the oceans. In Avengers number 71, Namor's anger leads him to clash with the Avengers when he believes they're threatening his kingdom. Namor also has a romance with a human woman, Dorma, further confusing Namor. But in Avengers number 262, Namor makes a pivotal decision to stop fighting against Earth's surface dwellers. He realizes that while he must protect Atlantis, he must also ensure that both his people and humanity can coexist. Moon Knight. Moon Knight, aka Mark Spector, debuted in Werewolf by Night number 32. Mark was a mercenary who was betrayed by the people he worked for, and was now left for dead in Egypt. Mark was then rescued by priests of the moon god Khonshu, but Mark sadly died while being brought there. However, Khonshu has the power to bring people back to life, so Mark was then resurrected and became Khonshu's earthly avatar. Now Mark being reborn as Moon Knight. Mark's story is complicated by his dissociative identity disorder. In Moon Knight number 1, he develops multiple personalities, including millionaire Stephen Grant and taxi cab driver Jake Lockley. But Mark's relationship with Khonshu becomes strained as Mark questions whether the god is real or just a manifestation of his mental illness. His battles are not just against criminals, but also against his own mind. But Mark does eventually gain control of his identities. In later stories such as Moon Knight 2014, he learns to balance his fractured selves and use his powers for good. While still facing personal battles, he becomes a stronger, more self-aware person, relying on his resilience rather than the moon god Khonshu's influence. Mantis. Mantis first appeared in Avengers number 112. She was born in Vietnam to a human mother and an unknown father who was revealed to be a Kree, which are these advanced aliens. Mantis was raised by the priest of Pama. She was trained in martial arts and developed psychic abilities. Mantis was also chosen as the Celestial Madonna, a prophesized figure destined to give birth to a cosmic being. Moving forward, Mantis joins the Avengers in Avengers number 114 and quickly became an important member of the team, but over time she grapples with her fate as the Celestial Madonna. Due to that, she faces the complex decision of whether to accept or reject her role in the cosmic prophecy. Mantis often struggles with her destiny as the mother of a powerful cosmic being, feeling torn between her personal desires and the larger fate of the universe, with the constant pressure of her destined role causes tension in her relationships, particularly with the Avengers. Mantis ultimately decides to step away from the prophecy, where now she gives up her son to the being known as the Celestial Messiah, in Avengers number 137. Here she continues her role as a hero, but finds peace with her decisions and no longer defines herself solely by the prophecy. Over time, Mantis does become a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and remains a dedicated hero using her abilities to help others. Psylocke. Originally being called Elizabeth Betsy Braddock, where she was first seen in Captain Britain number 8. Elizabeth was a telepathic British mutant and the twin sister of Captain Britain. But her life changed when her mind was swapped with that of Kwannon, a Japanese ninja, transforming her into the deadly warrior Psylocke. And how did this body swap happen? Well, we'll need to make a whole separate video for that. Moving on, Elizabeth joins the X-Men, playing a key role, particularly during the Jim Lee era in the 1990s. Her telepathic powers allowed her to create psychic weapons, and she often fought alongside Wolverine and the others in the X-Men. But Psylocke struggled with her dual identity, both her British heritage and her new Japanese persona. With time, Psylocke accepted her dual identity and embraced both her British and Japanese sides. She became a key member of the X-Force team, using her psychic abilities and martial arts skills to fight for mutant kind. Psylocke found peace with her past and solidified her role as a hero and loyal X-Men member. Magneto. Magneto, aka Max Eisenhart, first appeared in X-Men number 1. Max was a Holocaust survivor, and through that tragic event, he discovered his ability to control magnetic fields, making him a mutant. His past shaped his beliefs that mutants were superior to humans, leading him to fight for mutant domination as a means of protection from humanity's cruelty. Magneto became a frequent enemy of the X-Men, especially opposing Professor X's vision of peaceful coexistence. But despite being an antagonist, Magneto's motivation were rooted in protecting mutants. He has also led the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and joined the X-Men at times, which includes the Age of Apocalypse and the House of M storylines. Magneto has trouble with his mutant superiority and with his violent methods as opposed to Professor X's. But Magneto does eventually begin to embrace a more balanced approach, seeking to protect mutants while understanding the need for peace. Though he does still become a weird character, sometimes becoming a pure villain to an anti-hero. Hulk. The Hulk, aka Bruce Banner, first appeared in The Incredible Hulk number 1. Bruce, a scientist, was exposed to gamma radiation, transforming him into the Hulk, a powerful, uncontrollable monster whenever he gets angry. Bruce struggles with controlling the Hulk, battling both internal and external enemies. He often fights for peace, but the Hulk's destructive nature makes him a danger. Key storylines like Planet Hulk and World War Hulk shows his struggles and anger. Hulk's main conflict between his peaceful nature and the Hulk's uncontrollable rage. Due to this, Bruce wants to cure himself, but the Hulk's power and anger are always a big threat. Even with these struggles, Bruce learns to manage the Hulk's rage and use his power for good. Though the struggle between his two identities continue, he accepts the Hulk as a part of him, but his journey remains ongoing. Captain America. Captain America, aka Steve Rogers, first appeared in Captain America: Comics #1. The story starts with a weak young man during World War II. Steve was injected with the super soldier serum, becoming a symbol of justice and fighting for the Allies against the Axis powers. After the war, Steve was frozen in ice and revived in the modern era, now becoming a leader of the Avengers, fighting against threats like Hydra and Red Skull, while adjusting to the new world and his role as a hero. Captain America tries to balance his moral values with the changing world, because as a soldier and leader, he's facing difficult decisions that challenge his ideals of justice and freedom. Though Steve does remain committed to his values, inspiring others and his unwavering courage and sense of duty, continuing to fight for the people, making him a perfect role as the leader of the Avengers. Groot first appeared in Tales to Astonish #13. He is a sentient tree-like creature from Planet X. Initially portrayed as a villain who can control plant life, but after becoming more heroic, he joins the Guardian of the Galaxy. Groot evolves from a simple supporting character to a key member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He shares a deep bond with Rocket Raccoon and often fights for the protection of the universe. Despite his limited words of "I am Groot," he communicates through actions and strong emotional connections. Groot often sacrifices himself for others, which leads him to dying and being reborn as a sapling in several storylines. But Groot continues to fight for the Guardians, embracing his unique qualities. Doctor Strange. Dr. Stephen Strange first appeared in Strange Tales #110, a brilliant but arrogant neurosurgeon. But all that came down once Strange's hands were damaged in a car accident, completely ending his career as a neurosurgeon. Seeking a cure, he journeyed to Tibet, where he found the Ancient One, who trained him in the mystic arts. Strange then became the Sorcerer Supreme, the protector of Earth from magical and mystical threats. As Sorcerer Supreme, Strange faced numerous mystical challenges, including battles against villains like Dormammu and Baron Mordo. Over time, Strange becomes a central figure in the Marvel Universe, leading the fight against magical and cosmic threats. But Doctor Strange has big responsibilities as Sorcerer Supreme. He struggles with the burden of protecting Earth from dark mystical forces, while dealing with the loss of his old life and personal relationships. He learns to embrace his responsibilities, evolving into a wiser, more selfless hero. Penny Parker. Penny Parker first appeared in Edge of Spider-Verse #5. She is a young genius from an alternate universe. A big part of her story was the tragic death of her father due to an explosion when she was 9. Her father was also a Spider-Man, which leads to Penny inheriting his biomechanical suit called the Spider. The suit is connected to her mind and she becomes the new Spider-Woman, using it to protect her city. The thing with Penny's journey is defined by her grief and the responsibility of taking on her father's mantle. Piloting Spider is not only a way for her to honor her father's legacy, but it also symbolizes her personal struggle to overcome the loss. Throughout her time as Spider-Woman, Penny had her own version of Venom called Venom, piloted by her classmate Addie Brock. There was just one big problem. The Venom suit had a mind of its own, eventually taking full control and assimilating Addie and even Aunt May, forcing Penny to use cunning and web trap tech. But when the suit was open, only wires were seen, meaning she both lost her friend and Aunt May. The loss of her loved ones is Penny's central conflict. Even with her Uncle Ben around, she struggles with feelings of isolation, guilt, and the overwhelming responsibility that comes with being the new Spider-Woman. Despite the pain of her losses, Penny grows into a stronger hero and finds a sense of purpose protecting others. She learns to navigate the complexities of piloting the spider suit, and over time, she comes to terms with her loss, realizing that she can honor them by forging her own path as a hero. The Thing. The Thing, aka Ben Grimm, first appeared in Fantastic Four #1. Ben Grimm was a skilled pilot and close friend of Reed Richards. After an accident in space, Ben was transformed by a cosmic race into a rocky, super strong creature. He later becomes a member of the Fantastic Four. Ben fights to protect the world from various threats, including Doctor Doom and Galactus. Despite his strength and loyalty to his team, Ben often wrestles with feelings of isolation and self-worth, as he sees himself as a monster. But his bond with his fellow team members, especially with Johnny Storm, is central to his journey. However, Ben does still struggle with his appearance and how the transformation has affected his identity. He often feels disconnected from his old life and has difficulty finding a place where he truly belongs. Ben continues to fight alongside the Fantastic Four, eventually accepting his new form and embracing his role as a hero. Over time, he learns to value his strength and the importance of his relationship with his team. Though his journey with self-acceptance is ongoing, Ben finds peace in being a hero and a loyal friend, proving that strength doesn't just come with looks. Thor. Thor, the God of Thunder, first appeared in Journey into Mystery number 83. Thor wields the magical hammer Mjolnir, granting him control over lightning and immense strength. Thor defends both Earth and Asgard from threats like Loki and cosmic villains. He struggles with balancing his godly duties and personal flaws, especially his relationship with his father, Odin. Through his experiences, Thor matures, learning humanity and responsibility, protecting those in need. Venom first appearing in the Amazing Spider-Man number 300. He's the result of an alien symbiote bonding with Eddie Brock. The symbiote was initially attached to Spider-Man, but after being rejected, it found a new host in Eddie, creating Venom with abilities similar to Spider-Man. Over time, Venom evolves into an anti-hero, fighting against greater threats and protecting the innocent, particularly from other symbiotes like Carnage. The thing with Venom, he has a dual identity, which isn't good because Eddie's Brock's desire for revenge and the symbiote's hunger for chaos as they struggle with morality and the fine line between right and wrong. But Venom does learn to embrace his role as a protector, fighting for the greater good while managing his darker instincts. Though those actions are still violent, Venom ultimately becomes a complex anti-hero, seeking redemption while battling his inner demons. Black Panther, aka T'Challa, first appeared in Fantastic Four number 52. T'Challa is the king of Wakanda, a technologically advanced African nation. After the death of his father, he takes the mantle of Black Panther, gaining enhanced abilities through the heart-shaped herb, which grants him strength, speed, and agility. As king, he is both a ruler and a protector. T'Challa defends Wakanda from internal and external threats, including villains like Ulysses, Clow, and Killmonger. He also joins the Avengers to help protect the world from global threat. Throughout his journey, T'Challa struggles with his duty as a king and his responsibilities as Black Panther, constantly trying to balance the two. Black Panther faces challenges from rivals seeking his throne, the loss of his loved ones, and his role in global politics. His leadership is tested as he tries to protect Wakanda while navigating the complex world outside. But T'Challa evolves into a wise and just king, embracing his role as a leader and protector. He seeks to build alliances for Wakanda's future and uses his power to fight for justice, becoming both a hero and a symbol of leadership and responsibility. Black Widow, aka Natasha Romanoff, first appeared in Tales of Suspense number 52. Natasha was trained as an assassin before going to the United States. She later becomes a key member of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers, using her combat skills, intelligence, and resourcefulness to fight for justice. As an Avenger, Natasha battles powerful threats alongside people like Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. Her past as a spy and assassin often haunts her, and she seeks redemption for the crimes she committed. She faces guilt over her former life as an assassin and struggles with trust issues, both with her allies and herself. But Natasha grows into a strong, reliable leader within the Avengers, fully embracing her new purpose. She finds redemption through her actions and relationships, ultimately becoming a hero who fights for the greater good. Hela first appeared in Journey into Mystery 100 number 2. She's the daughter of Odin, ruler of Asgard for a while, and the goddess of death. Hela was once the ruler of Hel and Niflheim, realms of the dead. After being cast aside by her father, Hela's desire for power and vengeance against Asgard grows. Hela's desire for recognition and revenge against her father and Asgard, she seeks ultimate power, trying to bring about the downfall of Asgard and eliminate any threats to her rule, including Thor and Loki. Her ambition ultimately leads to her demise. Despite her death, her legacy and the effects of her actions remains a lasting impact on Asgard and its future. Hawkeye, aka Clint Barton, first appeared in Tales of Suspense number 57. Clint grew up in a troubled childhood, eventually becoming a skilled marksman and circus performer. After initially facing off against Iron Man, Clint becomes a founding member of the Avengers, using his archery skills to fight alongside Earth's mightiest heroes. As an Avenger, he proved his worth despite lacking superhuman ability. He is often seen as a more grounded hero, but sometimes it does get to Hawkeye's mind time to time, questioning his value as a hero in a world full of superpowered beings. He deals with personal doubts and has struggled to balance his family life with his responsibilities as an Avenger. Hawkeye eventually embraces his place among the Avengers, becoming a dependable and skilled hero, while still battling personal challenges, earning respect for his unwavering dedication and humanity. Human Torch. The Human Torch, aka Johnny Storm, first appeared in Fantastic Four number 1. Johnny gains the ability to control fire after being exposed to cosmic rays during a space mission. As the youngest member of the Fantastic Four, Johnny struggles to balance his recklessness with his responsibilities as a hero. He often deals with his own insecurities about living up to the expectations of his team, and proving himself as more than just a hot-headed kid. His relationships with his teammates, especially with his sister Sue Storm, and his close friendship with Ben Grimm, are are central to his story. Through those challenges, Johnny matures as both a hero and a person. While still fiery and impulsive at times, he becomes a respected member of the Fantastic Four, learning the value of teamwork and responsibility. Iron Fist. Iron Fist, aka Danny Rand, first appeared in Marvel Premiere number 15. After his parents died while searching for the Himalayan city of Kunlun, Danny was able to get to Kunlun. There, he trains in martial arts and earns the power of the Iron Fist by defeating a dragon and channeling its powers into his fists. Now, Danny returns to New York as Iron Fist. He fights crimes in the street of New York and forms strong alliances with heroes like Luke Cage, forming the superhero duo Heroes for Hire. Iron Fist's main conflict revolves around being a protector of Kunlu and a hero in New York. He faces challenges from mystical enemies like the Steel Serpent, as well as his self-worth in the larger Marvel universe. Eventually, Danny matures as a hero, learning to embrace his unique abilities and responsibility. He continues to protect New York, work with his fellow heroes for hire, and uphold the traditions of Kunlun while seeking justice and balance in his life. Magic. Magic, aka Illyana Rasputin, first appeared in Giant Size X-Men number 1. Illyana is the younger sister of Colossus, a member of the X-Men. After being kidnapped by the demonic ruler Belasco, she is forced to stay in the dimension of Limbo, a place filled with demons. There, she trained magic from Belasco, teaching her black magic, and a different version of Storm, teaching her white magic. Illyana had years and years of grueling training until she became the powerful sorceress known as Magic. She, wanting revenge, was now strong enough to take out Belasco, finally escaping Limbo. Illyana returns to Earth as a skilled sorceress and a member of the X-Men. She struggles with her traumatic past in Limbo and her dual identity as both a mutant and a sorceress. Throughout her journey, she faces threats from both the demonic realm and other mutant enemies, all while trying to prove herself as a hero and grappling with the darker side of her powers. Magic continues to fight for the X-Men, using her powers for good despite her dark past. She learns to accept herself as both a mutant and a sorceress, growing into a key member of the team. Illyana finds balance between her light and dark sides, solidifying her place as a powerful and heroic figure. Iron Man. Iron Man, aka Tony Stark, first appeared in Tales of Suspense number 39. Tony Stark is a wealthy genius inventor and CEO of Stark Industries. After being captured in a war zone, Tony is forced to create a powerful suit of armor to escape captivity. He later upgrades this armor to fight crime and become a hero known as Iron Man. Tony faces threats from villains like the Mandarin and Obadiah Stane, as well as his personal struggles with his identity as both a billionaire playboy and a superhero. He forms alliances with other heroes, notably becoming a founding member of the Avengers. Throughout his journey, Tony deals with issues like alcoholism, his strained relationship with his father, and the ethics of his company's weapon manufacturing. He must also face the moral dilemma of using technology for good while grappling with the consequences of his inventions, which can be used for destruction. Despite ongoing personal challenges, Tony uses his intellect and resources to protect the world. He solidifies his place as a key member of the Avengers and a hero who continuously strives for redemption. Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda Maximoff, first appeared in X-Men number 4. She is the daughter of Magneto and twin sister to Quicksilver, and discovers she has a powerful reality warping ability, making her a mutant just like her dad. Wanda struggles with controlling her powers, which can alter reality. She suffered significant losses, including the death of her children in House of M, which leads her to reshape reality. Wanda has to cope with the emotional damage caused by her actions, especially when she erases most mutants' power and decimation. She wrestles with guilt and her desire to redeem herself. Wanda tries to regain control of her powers and make an effort to right her wrong. She continues to fight for the greater good, evolving into a more stable hero. Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic, aka Reed Richards, first appeared in Fantastic Four number 1. Reed is a brilliant scientist and the leader of the Fantastic Four. After a space mission exposes him to cosmic rays, he gains the ability to stretch his body to incredible lengths. As the leader of the Fantastic Four, Reed uses his intellect and stretching abilities to protect Earth from various threats. Reed's life involves his dedication to science and the greater good with his responsibilities to his family. He struggles with the weight of being a leader and the burden of his inventions and discoveries, which sometimes have unintended consequences. Through time, Reed matures as a hero and a leader, learning to better balance his work and personal life, using his intellect to protect both Earth and his loved ones. Spider-Man. Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, first appeared in Amazing Fantasy number 15. Peter was a high school student, but his life changed when he was bitten by a radioactive spider, giving him the abilities to climb walls, superhuman strength, and a spider sense to detect danger. After the death of his Uncle Ben, Peter learns the lesson that with great power comes great responsibility. As Spider-Man, Peter balances his superhero life with also being a student, later working as a photographer. He faces villains like the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Venom. Peter has a hard time balancing his responsibilities as Spider-Man with his personal life. He often struggles with guilt over the people he cannot save and the dangers his loved ones face because of his secretive lifestyle. His sense of responsibility constantly drives him but also weighs heavily on him. But Peter continues to grow as a person, learning to accept the challenges of his dual life. Despite the hardships, he remains committed to using his powers for good, becoming one of the most beloved and resilient heroes in the Marvel Universe. Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl, aka Doreen Green, first appeared in Marvel Superheroes number 8. Doreen was born with squirrel-like abilities and a prehensile tail. Also, just good to note, she was looking like this. Squirrel Girl's story is filled with humor and heart as she faces off against various villains, often winning with her cleverness rather than brute strength. Despite her seemingly quirky persona, Squirrel Girl is a capable and skilled hero who often proves underestimated by her foes. Squirrel Girl barely gets any respect and recognition as a hero, despite her playful demeanor. She often faces doubts from others about her abilities, but Squirrel Girl still remains her role as a hero, becoming a symbol of perseverance and kindness. She continues to fight for justice while maintaining her fun. Storm. Storm, aka Ororo Munroe, first appeared in Giant Size X-Men number 1. Ororo was born to be a tribal princess to Kenya, but was orphaned and grew up as a street thief in Cairo. She was later discovered to possess the power to manipulate the weather. From that, Storm becomes a member of the X-Men. Storm rises to leadership in the X-Men, often serving as the team's leader and a key strategist. She battles with villains like Magneto, Apocalypse, and the Sentinels while navigating her complex identity as both a powerful mutant and a former goddess worshipped. Storm has challenges balancing her immense power with her role as a leader and protector. She struggles with the weight of her responsibilities and the pressure to reconcile her past as a goddess with her life as a hero and a mutant. Storm matures into one of the most respected and influential X-Men. She continues to fight for the mutant rights, embracing her leadership role while growing as a person. Her story reflects her determination, strength, and constant commitment to justice. Punisher. The Punisher, aka Frank Castle, first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man number 129. Frank Castle was a former Marine who witnessed the brutal murder of his wife and children by the mob. Consumed by grief and rage, he declares war on crime, becoming the vigilante known as the Punisher, using his military training and arsenal of weapons to eliminate criminals. As the Punisher, Frank often faces off against powerful crime families and dangerous villains. He operates outside the law, using his military expertise to take down enemies, all while grappling with his need for vengeance and justice. He has no superhuman abilities, relying solely on his skills and weaponry. The Punisher's unrelenting thirst for vengeance and his struggle with maintaining his humanity, he becomes consumed by his quest to rid the world of crime, often questioning whether he is truly making a difference or simply becoming the very thing he hates. His story is one of relentless pursuit of justice. Despite the toll it takes on his personal life and soul, his legacy of a person who sacrificed everything for vengeance kinda sounds like someone I know. Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill, first appeared in Marvel Preview number 4. Peter Quill is the son of Meredith Quill and the celestial being Ego the Living Planet. After his mother's death, Peter is abducted by space pirates known as the Ravengers and grows up to become a notorious space outlaw. He later adopts the name Star-Lord and becomes the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. As Star-Lord, Peter teams up with Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Groot to protect the galaxy from various threats. Though initially a self-serving rogue, Peter learns the value of teamwork and friendship, becoming a true hero in the process. But Peter is confused about his identity. He battles with the fact that he's part human and part celestial, grappling with the loss of his mother and his complicated relationship with his father. His impulsive nature often creates friction with others, but he grows through his experiences as a guardian. Over time, Peter matures into a reliable leader and hero, embracing his role as a guardian of the galaxy, while still learning to balance his flaws and responsibilities. He proves time and time again that he's willing to sacrifice for the greater good, solidifying his place as a key figure in the Marvel Universe. Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, aka Bucky Barnes, first appeared in Captain America number 1. Bucky was Captain America's sidekick during World War II. However, After a mission gone wrong, he was believed to have died, but in reality, he was captured by Hydra, brainwashed, and turned into the Winter Soldier, a deadly assassin. As the Winter Soldier, Bucky carries out covert missions for Hydra. Unaware of his past, Bucky carries out covert missions for Hydra. After encountering Captain America once again, he begins to regain his memories. Despite being a former enemy, Bucky seeks redemption and tries to make amends for the atrocities he committed while under Hydra's control. Due to that, Bucky regrets the past. He has guilt of the crimes he committed as the Winter Soldier. He faces constant challenges of trust and forgiveness, especially from those closest to him, like Steve Rogers. Bucky works toward redemption by aiding the Avengers and fighting against the forces of Hydra. While still haunted by his past, he becomes a hero in his own right, accepting he can't change the past but can change the future. Wolverine, aka James Logan Howlett, first appeared in The Incredible Hulk number 180. Born in the 19th century, Logan has a healing factor that slows his aging, making him virtually immortal. After the traumatic death of his father, Logan's life is filled with pain and loss. He's experimented on by the Weapon X program, which bonds to an indestructible adamantium skeleton and claws to his body. Due to that, Logan becomes a skilled fighter and assassin, often working for various government organizations. He joins the X-Men, where he fights for mutant rights and becomes a central figure in the battle against threats like Magneto, Apocalypse, and his own dark past. Wolverine has an internal battle between his primal rage and his desire to be a hero, as well as his painful memories of his past, including the experiments done on him throughout his life. He often struggles with his place in the world, feeling like an outsider, even among the X-Men. But over time, Logan comes to terms with his past and his role as a protector. Despite his rage and past mistakes, he's still a hero, fighting for the greater good and protecting those who can't protect themselves, making him a long-lasting character in the Marvel Universe. Cloak and Dagger, aka Tyrone Johnson, which is Cloak, and Tandy Bowen, which is Dagger. They first appeared in Cloak and Dagger number 1. Tyrone and Tandy were two teenagers who gained superpowers after being experimented on with a synthetic version of a drug. Tyrone gains the power to manipulate darkness and teleport, while Tandy can create glowing daggers of light that can heal or harm someone. After gaining their powers, Cloak and Dagger uses their abilities to fight crime, particularly targeting drug dealers, as their powers stem from their traumatic experiences with the drug trade. Cloak and Dagger tries to balance their need for justice with the dangerous natures of their powers. Tyrone often struggles with the overwhelming darkness inside him, while Tandy struggles with the burden of her powers and their impact on her personal life. But through those struggles, Cloak and Dagger grows as individuals and a team, learning to better control their powers. Over time, they continue to fight for justice, focusing on helping those suffering from the same issues that shape their own lives. Their bond remains unbreakable and they remain a symbol of hope for those in need. Invisible Woman, aka Susan Storm, first appeared in Fantastic Four number 1. Sue is a member of the Fantastic Four, gaining her powers after being exposed to cosmic rays during a space mission, giving her invisibility and generate force fields. Throughout her journey, she proves to be a critical member of the Fantastic Four, often using her intelligence and force fields to protect her teammates. Invisible Woman's primary conflict revolves around being underestimated in the beginning. She works to assert herself in a male-dominated superhero world, but Sue grows into a more confident and powerful hero, learning to embrace her full potential. Over time, she becomes one of the strongest members of the Fantastic Four, solidifying her place as one of Marvel's greatest heroines. Jeff the Landshark. Jeff the Landshark first appeared in West Coast Avengers, where he was made from an experiment from MODOK. He is a Landshark who was initially introduced as a pet of Gwenpool. He was a companion to Gwenpool and her team of Avengers, offering comic relief and occasionally getting into trouble. Jeff quickly became a fan favorite due to his quirky, sometimes mischievous nature. He has the appearance of a small, adorable, yet somewhat dangerous creature. Although Jeff's main role is a comedic sidekick, his primary conflict stems from being a land-dwelling shark in a world that isn't built for him. He can be a bit of a handful for the Avengers, often knocking things over, trying to bite villains, and just being a general source of chaos. However, Jeff still continues to be part of the West Coast Avengers team, providing a lighter, fun tone to their missions. Though he's not an active fighter or hero, his presence emphasizes the lighter side of superhero life, and he remains a beloved character. Loki, the god of mischief, first appeared in Journey into Mystery number 85. He is the adopted brother of Thor. Raised in Asgard, Loki is skilled in magic and shape-shifting, often using these powers to create chaos and rivalry with Thor. Loki is primarily a villain, constantly scheming and causing trouble for Thor and the gods of Asgard. His jealousy and desire for power often puts him at odds with his family. Despite his antagonism, Loki's character is complex, driven by feelings of proving himself. He seeks power and approval but often sabotages his own goals due to his jealousy and insecurities. Loki's journey sees him shift between villain and anti-hero, occasionally seeking redemption and trying to prove his worth. His unpredictable nature makes him both a danger and an ally to those around him. Rocket. Rocket Raccoon first appeared in Avengers number 267. He was genetically modified and experimented on in a lab, giving him enhanced intelligence and physical abilities. Born on a planet called Half-World, Rocket was raised in a society that viewed him as just a dumb experiment gone wrong. Also remembers tragic abuse and manipulation he faced at the hands of those who created him. From there, Rocket becomes a mercenary, joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. But Rocket does still have struggle with his past trauma and feelings of not being good enough. He's haunted by the experiment, where his defensive attitude and tendencies to push others away are ways of coping with the emotional scars from his origins. Though Rocket remains a bit of a loner, he grows through his experiences with the Guardians, learning to trust and form deep bonds with his teammates. Despite his tragic past, Rocket proves that even those who have been broken can still find purpose.